At the time of the recording of this video, we are a week away from Bloomburrow pre-release. That's right, furry critters are coming your way, and there's been a bunch of talk about not only the value of this product, what it's going to do in the future, but whether or not this can be a Magic the Gathering set to bring a lot of people into our game. And because of this discourse, because of this overarching idea of Bloomburrow being like, hey, come in, you like critters, you like squirrels, you like fuzzy animals and creature combat, join Magic the Gathering right now. This thought got me thinking that there is one big problem with Bloomburrow, and that's what we're going to discuss in the video today. So stick around because I have a lot to say on this topic, and while I am super excited for Bloomburrow, I can't wait, I'm ultra positive, I think this is a big factor when it comes to the success of the set. Bloomburrow is going to be an incredible release. I think it's going to do extremely well, especially for people that are ingratiated into Magic the Gathering. Whether you found your way here from Universes Beyond, been in Magic for a long time, or just been stuck in the TCG world for the better part of 20 years like me, I think there's something for almost everyone in Bloomburrow. But that doesn't mean the set is not without its problems. Today I want to talk about those problems, and as we get into that, I want you to make sure add your comments, add your thoughts to the comment section below, and most importantly, hit that sub button if you like content like this, because we're racing to 9K, and for small channels like me, every click of that subscribe button definitely helps. But Bloomburrow, like I said, is going to be successful. It already is, in my opinion. We'll do a video later this week about sales data on TCG Player, how the set's pre-selling compared to other standard releases of this last year, maybe even the last 2 years. But without going too far down the negativity train, again, because I am super positive about the set, it would be not honest if I didn't mention that there's a downfall of the set, and it has to do with the onboarding of new players. And we think of onboarding of new players, we think of things like starter kits, commander games with your friends, and learning to play from someone who's been around Magic for a long time, and then kind of getting the balls rolling and getting started that way. And Bloomburrow really, on its surface, offers a lot to brand new players. Look, the cards are beautiful. Something that almost everyone can relate to is, I like cute fuzzy creatures, and that is pretty much the entire theme of this set. Now, some of those creatures get wildly vicious, and I know there's some commander cards and combos that are looking to be really, really mean, not necessarily cute and cuddly at all, but for the most part, the overall aesthetic is the cute, cuddly creatures. You couple that with some of the new treatment and art that we have seen from Bloomburrow, and Magic the Gathering is looking about as good as it has ever looked. I have to say that if I was on the outside looking in and you laid out a bunch of trading cards from various card games, Magic cards from Bloomburrow would look extremely spectacular. They would pop, they would stand out, and you couple that with, the success of the game, the size of the player base, all the things that makes Magic so successful, I think you got a winning recipe. But there are some things, especially the mechanics of Bloomburrow, that I think are less than new player friendly, and I think this could have been a massive win for Wizards of the Coast. And listen, we know that a lack of power creep hurts the sales of boxes, right? If you don't have super powerful cards, people don't necessarily engage in the product, buy the boxes short or long term, probably as much as Papa Wizards of the Coast would like. But hey, sometimes that's the price you pay, and I'm aware Magic the Gathering Foundations is right around the corner. We'll do a whole video on the idea of onboarding someone through Magic the Gathering Foundations. I think it's going to be a really strong opportunity to bring people in outside of the Magic is just Commander. Like, there are other things you can do when it comes to Magic, but Bloomburrow had this opportunity to, and I believe it's a bit of a miss. I mean, it's not going to kill the set, but we have a lot of mechanics in Bloomburrow that are wildly complicated or break one of the core tenets in Magic the Gathering. One of the core tenets being like, hey, I have my deck, I can sit down, I can play. And Offspring is the first mechanic that kind of breaks that tenet I was talking about. The more things you have to have when it comes to playing your trading card game, the more things you have to have with you, remember, be prepared for, in my opinion, makes the game harder to bring on new people. It's why you see starter decks always being so simple and requiring so little just to get going. And the idea of Offspring, everything having a unique token, and the idea of, it's the same, but it's smaller, and you have to have a unique token, it's hard to represent. Maybe you can slide a card underneath it, it's not going to represent itself visually well without that token. If you draft this card, did you also draft the token? Things like that. This is going to make the Offspring mechanic a bit more complicated, especially for new players. Look, listen, veterans like you and I are going to just put a card down, say it's an Offspring of this, and we will know, but all of these things do affect the performance of the box and the value of this product in the long term. And much like offspring kind of complicates what you have to have with you and your various board states, the idea of a mechanic like gift is a little in the weeds. Now, I understand what we're doing here. We're bringing the social aspect, the idea of promises and good stuff for our opponents into standard. A lot of these are standard legal cards, and yes, they are going to be wildly popular in Commander. But again, this seems like a mechanic, much though it is, likely the simplest of the complex mechanics, something that I don't necessarily love. And that goes along with something like Forage. Hey, anytime we're looking to sack unique items or, certain numbers of cards in a graveyard to get a mechanic to work, like the idea that food tokens are important here is something that might be overlooked. Valiant is fine. It looks like it could have been worded a little bit better. Why couldn't we have just given things prowess? Maybe that stops the power creep or things like that. But Valiant, again, it's very wordy. One of these simpler mechanics. I don't really have a big complaint about Valiant. But Expend and the Paw Prints are another thing that are not only going to complicate board states, but are also going to complicate the back and forth that you have in a game of Magic the Gathering. And I say all that to say this. It's not, and I can't stress this enough, if you're still here through kind of going through what I think of some of the quick mechanics, I cannot stress this enough. Let me know that you're still here because I want to know that this message is heard. I do not think this is going to hyper negatively impact the performance of Bloomburrow. Listen, I am extremely high on Bloomburrow. I think it's a wonderful Magic the Gathering set. I already laid out all the reasons beforehand, and I don't think the fact that some of the mechanics are a little bit overcomplicated is going to cause a drastic effect. I do, however, believe that it will complicate a lot of people's introduction into Magic the Gathering. And one of the biggest lanes that we used for Magic the Gathering introduction is, no, it's not the starter deck, which I'm so happy that Bloomburrow has. Starter products for 60 card one-on-one Magic are absolutely beautiful things. But one of the biggest lanes is, hey, I know someone who gets together at the game store to play Commander. We're gonna get together with a couple of their friends. I will learn as I go and learn to play Magic in a social and pod atmosphere. And this is exciting. It's a great way to socially engage with Magic the Gathering. It's a great way to kind of build that nostalgia and that ties and that love for a type of card game and hanging out with your friends and playing Magic. But beyond that, it is a wildly complicated way to learn to play Magic the Gathering. Let's face facts. When we play Commander, if you are actually engaged in playing Commander, you're constantly keeping track of like 900 things at once. And no, I'm not talking about CEDH, but just, hey, what is happening right now? What are you doing? How are you popping off? What is this thing that you're casting do? Should I be concerned about that? Should I be concerned about this? Has anybody else answered anything in a long time? Yada, yada, yada. Whew, Commander can get to be a bit overwhelming. And I have said before on the channel, and I'll say it again, I don't think it's the best way to learn to play Magic the Gathering. It's probably the best way to fall in love with Magic the Gathering, but if you want to just learn to play, I would argue that the starter deck is something more that fits that lane. And I can only assume the Bloomburrow starter decks are going to be filled with the mechanics that we see before us. Now, those starter decks being filled with those mechanics maybe causes some problems, maybe doesn't, but I think it could have been a more pure experience. But overall, is this a big deal? It's not the worst deal in the world, and I think what helps this kind of move along is as long as we continue to have front doors or openings into our Magic the Gathering community. I've said it before, Universes Beyond. Wonderful opportunity to get new people involved in Magic the Gathering, and I was laughed at first, but look at the performance of Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who and Fallout and anyone in the comment section that's just telling us right now, I got into Magic the Gathering because of this Universes Beyond thing. The comments happen all the time on the channel. It's clearly a wonderful gateway into our favorite trading card game. But beyond that, I want to make sure we continue to have opportunities and Wizards of the Coast doesn't overcomplicate the game just for the sake of satiating us hardcore players. Listen, us players that have been around for a long time, we have proven that, yeah, we do like new stuff. Yeah, we like powerful cards, but we're going to keep playing the game no matter what. So as long as every once in a while, you kind of don't play to us and give us something easy and something simple that new players can really get their hands on, I think Magic the Gathering is going to go a long way and continue to be extremely healthy. And again, I'll say it again, I don't think Bloomburrow not having this is the biggest miss in the world. I think of all the sets that came out this year, and in fact, I'm thinking of this live right now, but in all the sets that came out this year for 2024, I would have liked to see Bloomburrow be the simplest. And let me know in the comments if this train of thought works for you. Again, all the fuzzy creatures, the cuddliness, the community hype would have been a wonderful time to bring your friend to the FNM, bring your friend to the pre-release, and if it was simple enough, have them kind of fall in love, give them a little taste, you know, first one's free, and then on to the depths of everything Magic has to offer. I think that would have been a really cool thing, and I don't think we're going to have as much of it here, and heck, some of it won't be as much of a problem, but I guarantee you there will be confusion amongst new players for some of these mechanics. Some of these are really hard to chew on, and they create wildly complex board states, things that we don't have to concern ourselves with when we look at something like Arena or Magic Online or any kind of digital client like that. But that's my final thoughts on the mechanics and the onboarding process and bringing people in to Bloomburrow. I want to hear, do you agree? Do you disagree? And do you just hate my channel? Because every once in a while I get a commenter that's like, I'm so happy I found this guy because he has all of the wrong ideas, or shout out to whatever negative comments we come across in various days. Thank you so much for hanging out. Make sure you do all the fun YouTube stuff and share this video, because that metric goes a long way. Again, for small channels like mine, any kind of shares or growth that we can see from community members like you all is massive. Remember, this channel is supported only by the channel members. It's $5 a month. You get access to content early. You get access to custom emotes, and every once in a while I put out a channel members only video just for everyone out there. Oh, discounts on box opening. I just got a whole bunch of Outlaws of Thunder Junction I think I'm gonna crack on the channel, and channel members are going to get a massive discount on those boxes. Thanks for hanging out today. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and well, we'll see you around. All right, take it easy, everyone.